real life situations to everyday world is what is really the credit goes to the woman harnessing technology creatively. So that is what I believe. I wanted to know if the clip can come on. Can it? Yeah.
I'm very happy that the advent of social media, it has made world still smaller. Perhaps if we had this facility of social media in 1984, I'm sure I would have been in touch with all my classmates who had come from different countries.
Social media is today a marketer's dream. It's a low-cost way of promoting your products on the internet.
Social media today is an in thing for the new business ventures and plus for the businesses to sustain today in the market.
How can a person have two different identities? One, the person me in flesh and bones, and one in the virtual space.
Internet has become a major addiction among the youth today. They are up whole night surfing on the net. We have seen of engaged couple breaking up on Facebook. They tell the whole world instead of telling each other. This has even led to suicides among them.
Lack of privacy, and people take liberty to post whatever they want, to exercise their, views or whatever.
He actually tweeted about something called as cattle class traveling in airplanes. Now that was taken in a negative way by a lot of people and the government as well, and that's why he had to resign.
Leave go, and then that leading to India gets corruption.
If you look at last year, the revolution in Egypt was brought about, was sparked by social media.
A clip which was created by my student, which I'm very proud to present here for this occasion. Now, that is how it is. This is on one single platform, as opposed to every different kind of media has got its own advantages and disadvantages. And someone like me who was fighting shy of getting on to Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook, I sometimes if you can't beat them, you have to join them. So I had a pseudonym created, and then, I had my profile and so on and so forth. And of course, it was a big giveaway when I told my daughter this and gave her my pseudonym on Facebook. Because I'm rather shy of going really with my real name. That's another advantage of the social media. You can be anonymous and also give your candid opinions. So when she checked out, she said, "Oh God, Mama, you are giving all your hobbies, everything for your age group. So no one will believe that it's a 22-year-old. So that is how it is, the power of the medium. And, we talk about, you also heard one of my team members who is, as a concerned mother, she was sharing her opinion about how, all this all-night tweeting and blogging and so on also leads to a whole load of other psychological and social problems. And you might have caught Oprah Winfrey when she was on her maiden visit to India, when Barka Dutt interviewed her for NDTV at the Jaipur Literary Festival. It really warmed the cockles of my heart to say that she was echoing my sentiments. Maybe it is a generation thing when she said that, it is an addiction rather like alcohol or drug addiction. I believe it is true, because when I tried to get onto my pseudonym on Facebook, I become tired looking at my laptop because I'm busy surfing all the time, trying to key in something, connect with people. It is fun, but on a serious note, we have arrived at a time when, no one has time in the world. How much time do people have in their multitasking and in their daily activities, the daily chores that they're caught up on? How much time does one really have to really sit and read the newspapers? So I suppose you have your BlackBerry, you have whatever iPod, iPhone, whatever it is, you catch the news instantaneously. Whether it is marketing as it was brought out in the clip, whatever, the power of the medium cannot be denied. So that is how it is. And if you look at the history, of course, This is something which is not original to me, because now we earlier used to say that he or she is a knowledgeable person, would be someone who is a walking encyclopedia. But today, literally at the click of a mouse on your fingerprints, you have Wikipedia, you have Google search, you can really unearth any amount of information which you want. But still, I wanted to make this one point clear here, that how many of you know which is the first online social media site which happened in the world? I'll give you a clue. We women are at heart matchmakers. So, any guesses? The social dating site. That was the very first site which went online, you know. So that was it. And after that you have, of course, now all kinds of them, you know. You name them, you are there. The power of the medium is here to stay. So this is something which I wanted to say. And also, you know, statistics. Jaina, right in her opening remarks, she mentioned. I also looked at various surveys which I have here, which I wanted to, you know, really tell you. That you know, to illustrate the findings of these surveys, it is women. Surprisingly, it is women, whether they are busy career women or maybe housewives. Because how many of you would have seen that movie Mitra, My Friend? You know which? Yeah, that was again a bored housewife who has not been able to explore her full potential, playing, you know, handymaid to the husband and the child, how she wants to escape her boredom and seeks a new identity. Now, that is something which again she resorts to, you know, getting online. So this is how it is. Now, the survey has indicated that it's more number of women who get onto social media rather than the men. Percentages, maybe later on we will take that, I have them. Men only believe in, you know, voice call, that is telephones. Women also do that, but then increasingly they are the ones, whether they are career women or housewives, teenagers, what have you, children, they are the ones who are on the net website. Maybe one reason for this is it's an absolutely safe medium. It is a virtual platform where women can really come and explore, bear their true feelings, maybe with their own identities, or really a pseudonym, a different identity, but they can give voice to their emotions, express their feelings, and they also can, you know, because we women, we are the networkers, we are the nurturers, we are the gatherers, builders of communities, and we are the communicators. So this is again, you know, we women find this a very safe place to evolve and come forth, which again I must congratulate the organizers, because they say it is getting back to your source, which is what the women it is. So I think I'm done. Time is up. The music will be playing now. So let me hand over the mic. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm Shazia. I've been in television for the longest period, and I actually made a switch over to activism. And I'm part of Team Anna, which is India Against Corruption, of which Art of Living, yes, Guruji is a co-founder also of the same movement. And I'm proud to say that I'm here where I am, and also that I use my idea of knowledge, of technology to the fullest advantage for a social change that we think was whose time had come. You know, when I look at my own inner journey as a Muslim woman, as somebody who fought gender biases all her life, I really thought technology helped a huge way, because I could get my point across. I could go out there and speak and be a cause in the matter. But more than the technology, it's if you look at any art form, any form of communication, it's what you want to say and how you want to say it. So when we look at technology, it is the how of the matter. Are you communicating your message? What is the medium you're using? Is it television? Is it radio? Is it a letter? Is it internet? But what you want to say remains the crucial thing, the essence of it all. So the medium for me is the message, and message is the medium. And I think technology really is not mutually exclusive of anything else. As Anuradha pointed out just now, who actually was my first boss, you know, we travel with technology. You grow with technology, you learn from technology, but if you're clear about the message you want to disseminate, you know, the change you want to bring about, the seed of transformation you want to sow and reap, you have to use technology to that advantage. Technology, of course, is like, God Janus justice, double-edged sword. It can work either way. As we just saw that anonymity gives huge power because you can say what you want to say, but anonymity leads to a lot of misuse also on the social networking sites. You see horrible hate campaigns. You see dirty, filthy, obscene, unparliamentary language being used all the time. So that is, of course, the downside of it all. But having said that, if you're really looking for that particular medium to go out there, make a difference, then you have to befriend technology. It is there for the asking. I'm not saying that, Facebook and Twitter will just cut down the digital divide. It is a reality in the country that a lot of people do not have access to internet. But the fact of the matter is that mobile telephony has changed people's lives. Farmers and fishermen actually get better prices because they can call up the local mandi, the local market, and find out what the prices are and prevent being taken for a ride by the middlemen. So we are saying that whether it's making online communities or trying to create a different kind of a community on the net can actually be a great, have a multiplier effect. Of course, we are in this great spiritual place, and I keep coming back to Art of Living, having traveled with Guruji as a journalist and having known Bhanu Didi and her generosity of spirit for many, many years. Even when you look at spirituality, I was reminded of something when I saw the advertisement made yesterday. And as to spirituality, really, what is it? It's the inner net, somebody said, which connects us to the world and to ourselves. So if we look at technology and we look at spirituality, both are great levelers. They bring out the humanity in us. They cut the caste divisions. So I think much as both are needed to go ahead, they have to be coalesced together for a better future. I'll tell you something about India against corruption. This was just an idea. We are all, saddened and absolutely felt helpless against this rampant corruption day after day at all levels in our lives. And, it is that message we wanted to bring forward. So a bunch of individuals, Guruji included, was a founder member of India Against Corruption along with Anna Hazare. And we didn't want to accept corruption as a fait accompli and say, this is part of the system. What can you do? This is a might of the system. The system is too huge. Who are we? Just petty individuals? Can we make a difference? So this was something we went out with. And instead of complaining about it, we had something positive to say. We wanted to set up an anti-corruption system in place. We wanted to talk about a new law, a new bill. So we used this whole medium of Facebook, Twitter, as well as regular Facebook sites to propagate this medium and disseminate the message. And the result was outstanding. Anna Hazare sat on a fast for 12 days, and believe you me, the parliamentarians who wouldn't listen to us, who mocked us, sat for an extra day to pass a sense of house resolution saying that we have to pass the bill. Just like Mahatma Gandhi said, first they mock you, then they fight you, and then you win. So it's one of those things. They mocked us, they fought us, and finally we realized that the people's fight began to be consolidated. So the power of the medium was such, whether it was a television or internet, that it galvanized people into motion. It shook old beliefs.
We have a conference of men in black suits arguing about where to put a comma in a resolution. So this is just a fabulous thing. And again, excuse me, but I'm going to go down to the audience. Okay, I'm going to start with something very feminine. Football, or for the Americans in the audience, soccer. Okay? Who likes soccer? I'm going to do a quick poll. Do you like soccer?
Yes, I do.
Wow, you like soccer. Okay, let's come over here. Do you like soccer? Over this side. We've got some people who want to say whether they like soccer or not.
Arsenal.
This is fabulous. Thank you. I paid her 1,000 rupees to just give me that line because I want to talk about Arsenal. It's okay, I think, if I stay down here, isn't it? Arsenal. About 4 years ago, we ran in the Council of Europe a campaign to stop racism in football. Some of you may know that it has been a very great problem with some of the black players. And we decided to do this campaign. Now comes Arsenal. The manager of the Arsenal football team, Arsenal's in London, is a lovely man, a wonderful man called Arsene Wenger. And he comes from Strasbourg, which is the place where the Council of Europe is based. And he agreed to do a short television interview with me. And, you know, I had to sit 5 hours in the Arsenal football stadium waiting for him. And you know what it's like with television. 5 hours, and it took us maybe about 20 minutes for a 3-minute package where he said in English and in French and in German and in Alsatian, which is the language that they speak in that area, that football was a beautiful game, that there should be no racism, and that he supported the Council of Europe campaign against racism. Small little package. We put it onto the internet, and we tracked it by the analytics tool. Within 24 hours, it had gone to 2 million people. Then we did something else. I'm fortunate to have colleagues who do like football, so I don't particularly. They took it, and they took it onto some of the football sites. There are ones called the Bleacher Report, and I don't know. The footballers amongst you will know. So they put it into places where people read about football. And you know, within another 24 hours, we got 8 million people looking at that. And the next day, that story, just Arsene Wenger, manager of Arsenal, supports the campaign, says football is a beautiful game, kick racism out. It was in the Huffington Post, which you will know is one of the most influential media coming from America. It was in USA Today. It was even in India Today. So that shows the power of social media. I want to step just quickly into another campaign, which was our big campaign against domestic violence. We had a campaign a few years ago. Domestic violence is a great problem everywhere, and particularly so also in many countries of Europe. And we had a big campaign with many campaigning elements. But the great thing about it was we had the classic things. We had the big launch in Spain with the Spanish Prime Minister. We had the posters. We had parliamentarians working. But it also worked through social media. Do you know what the result is? The result is those parliamentarians were persuaded by their people, by the people who read us on social media, who went to them and said, change the law in this country. Make it a crime to hurt women. And the Council of Europe has just this year launched a convention against domestic violence which covers 47 countries and which will criminalise domestic violence to women in those countries. It's a great result. But as my friend already said, a lot changes with social media and a lot stays the same. And I want to repeat your thing. I say thing because it's about message. This is just a tool. It's a powerful tool, but it's just a tool. And you've got to use it. You've got to use it. The message is the key. And the use of it in an appropriate way is the key. So you've got to have the right message. There are people out there, as we've heard, who are using this for reasons which are wrong. There are people called trolls who will go around and spread hate on the internet. And it's up to us in this room to stop that. Okay? So the message is really important. We've got to get that message right. And we here know what sort of message we want to spread. Also, it's very easy to say, great, Twitter, Facebook, I've got 300,000 people following. But are those 300,000 people doing something? You know, I'm not too sure. And I become more disengaged sometimes from social media. You have to think if it's the right thing. Is the community you're trying to target using that social media? And one difficulty I've had is now I work a lot with the Gypsy people, the Roma people of Europe. As you know, the Roma people came out of India, in fact, a long, long time ago, and there's 10 million of them now live in Europe. They suffer terribly. They're very, very deprived. Many of the children don't go to school. The young girls can get married at 12 and have to do the domestic work. Their average life expectancy, usually in Europe, it's around about 75, and they're about 50. So there's a lot needs to be done. We've started work with them. They use social media a lot, but it's the men who use it. So I'm going to set out a challenge to the panel and to yourselves. We can go into the communities and we can talk to the Roma women. Some of the Roma women have been trained to mediate between the Roma and the outside community. But how can we skill them up and give them this social media tool that can bring them together? That's where I want to leave it for now, and I do hope that either now in the panel or later on, you'll come to me with your ideas. If you've got 300,000 friends on Facebook, I'll give you a little tip. Become an ambassador and just take 10 powerful women from this conference and befriend them. Because that's the way to do it. 300,000 doesn't mean anything, but 10 people who do the work does. Thank you.
I am very happy to be with you. I'm just coming from Beirut, Lebanon, a conference about women and the Arab Spring. And in the flight, beside me, a young girl, she told me that her father don't give her the permission to go through the internet or working. And I asked her, did you see the TV? She replied, yes. And I discovered that sometimes we can accept something by routine, by habitude. This father accept her daughter watch TV because by habited, it's accepting by our society to watch TV. And TV give some idea, maybe her father is against it and different of her small and close society. But he accept. But about the social media and the internet, no, because it's new. For us in Egypt and for the Egyptian youth, we made a revolution through an event in Facebook. And I discovered the power of the Facebook in the year 2008, when a friend of mine, a journalist, was arrested by Mubarak's regime, and we haven't any access to the traditional media. Everything is closed. And I organized an event in the journalist syndicate, and I made an event through Facebook. My English is not very good. It's good, or I speak in Arabic? Good? I will try my best. Because I am Francophone, not Anglo-Saxon. Then, when we went to the event, only promoted by the Facebook, and we found a lot of people, and the majority of them youth, and not only from Cairo, the capital, from some cities. The journalist, my friend, asked me, how come you bring all these people to the event? I told him through an event through Facebook. And he told me, don't say that through the media. We don't want the police discover the power of the new media. When I announced my presidential candidacy, I made it through the Twitter. I begin my follower before the revolution, only 900 followers. Now I have through Twitter 100,020. Yes. And that's the power of the internet and the social media. When we use the social media against the torture, all the traditional media close the eyes about a case of a young boy killed by the police by torture in the year 2010. And the newspapers, the TV, the radio doesn't talk about this case. And only the Facebook promote من خلال الشباب through the youth the case of Khalid Said, and all the world know about this case, and it was one of sharara sparkle of our revolution. And until yet, when we start only in Egypt a revolution, we didn't success until now. Why? Because we made the youth begin a revolution and the people surrounded them in the street, but we give the power to the army, the military. And the military is against democracy, against liberty. And they are a part of the old regime, Mubarak's regime. Then we use social media all the time. And not only Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. We took films through YouTube and we use it in the street. We have, when the traditional media and the newspaper promote the military concepts, the youth made a campaign very important called The Liars Military. And they made their small films, independent films, and they upload it through YouTube. But not only that, they took the films and they use their laptops, their mobiles, their the new media to film it and always the most important, how the young try to use the live stream, the bamboozer. If you know about bamboozer, very important. You can now, if you haven't, a channel, a live stream. The social media in the Arab world and in the Arab Spring was very important. And in the same time as Arabs, we supported as Egyptian the Tunisian revolution at the end before, and we spread all the information. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to say that I'm very honored to be here today. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, I'm very honored to be such among great women here today. Hearing your stories was very overwhelming for me. The fact that I've been here for the past 2 days, hearing your journeys and your experiences, has been such a wonderful experience for me. Though my experience is minor in comparison due to my age, but I'm very honored to be following the footsteps of such great leaders and to represent youth women leaders. Hopefully, through your experiences, we build our own and we grow. I'd like to speak regarding social media in the Arab world. Buthaina, I think, spoke about that, and she elaborated very well on the situation. So I would like to say that being part of this generation, I'm very blessed to be surrounded with media because I was raised in a generation where media is very accessible for me. As a filmmaker, though, I chose this career to be in film is for 2 reasons. The first reason was because film is a very, very powerful medium, and through film we can send messages to the world. The other main reason was the fact that I wanted to change the perception of Middle Eastern women. Middle Eastern women are viewed as oppressed and as women who don't have a voice. But just sitting here today and seeing that we are the second largest delegation, the Arabs here today are the second largest delegation. So this alone shows how women are advanced. I'm surrounded by presidential candidates. I'm surrounded by fashion designers, financial advisors, very powerful women in the Middle East. My role here today is to send the messages and send their stories and tell the world what each and every one of them can do within her own capabilities, of course. I'd like to actually share a very personal experience in regards to social media. My grandfather was imprisoned in Syria 22 years ago, and he was imprisoned under the very oppressed Syrian regime for 22 years. His struggle was not known to the world, although he was a very famous political activist, but it was not known to the world because the social media did not exist at the time. Very powerful women, including his daughters and other lawyers and very important women in the field, tried to basically send their message to the leaders to free him. But none of them was heard because of the fact that there was no medium to speak on. Right now, just from the Egyptian uprising, from the Tunisian, from the Libyan uprising, very small stories are being told to the world. And a very small, let's say, struggle is being spread worldwide through organizations, through social media organizations, people are being freed now because of Twitter and because of Facebook and because of all this blessed media that we are living in. I would like to also share that I believe that because film is very important for us and because film is a very powerful medium, each and every one of you has a story to tell. And each and every one of you has the ability to tell that story, even through your mobile phone right now. Just filming a very simple boy crossing the street can tell a story and can send a message. And every one of you has a message to tell. Just being here 2 days, I think I've collected stories more than I've collected my whole life. And now I'm going back home with a filled canvas, just to tell your stories. So I would just like to say that I'm very honored and pleased to be here today, to be able to share these stories, and hopefully all of us be able to share one message and make our voices heard as women and as women who want peace and want change in this world. Thank you.
Very nice. The disadvantage of being the last person to speak is that you've heard it all. So ladies, may I start by saying I have never come to a gathering of such beautiful, harmonious women, and it is my privilege and honor to be here addressing you. Thank you so much for inviting me. This is my first time here, Didi, and I hope to be back. I'm going to turn all these arguments on their head, only because I was a born troublemaker and I've always chosen the hard way of doing things. My point here, and the topic is women and social media. My point here is you do not need a media platform to create a social movement. I want to tell you about a little story. There is a gang in Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh is our largest state. Very political, very gender biased, very deprived in many ways. About 3 or 4 years ago, a lady wearing a pink dupatta, most of you are in Indian clothes, so a lady wearing a pink dupatta on top of her sari was walking down the streets and saw a man beating up his wife. So she reached out and picked up a stick that was lying there, and I'm sorry to say, really did beat the living daylights out of him. That lady's name is Sampat Devi, and she has formed something called the Gulabi Gang. Gulabi means pink. Within 2 years, without access to the internet, power, television, telephony, pure and simple old-fashioned media, which is word of mouth, there were more than 10,000 women in the group. Today, as things stand, it is suspected that the Gulabi Gang touches over 100,000 women. Their sole purpose in life is to protect others, not themselves. They are a group of vigilantes. They are not violent. They are not weirdos. They facilitate and help women who are victims of violence and desertion. They have also been effective in change. There was a local rape in their area, and the rape victim had nowhere to go, and the accused, who was not so accused at the time, was a local politician. So the Gulabi Gang made it their business to get there and get him convicted. Now the point I'm trying to make is social media is not about media. It is really about the soul and a common cause and a common purpose and a community. We as marketeers of media and people who exploit it like mad, and we are the most horrible people on earth, I think, we understand that nothing works as much as a single message that can be multiplied. And if you're looking at the Anna Hazare movement, you're looking at what happened in Egypt, I've had the privilege and honor of spending 2 years in 14 Muslim majority countries studying media impact. And I discovered that the Muslim majority countries had the least access to new media. Let us not confuse social media with new media. Despite that, we have seen what has happened in the Arab world. We have seen the positive influence of the multiplier effect of the soul, and a common cause and a common purpose. And that comes from a tremendous strength and a space that no media platform can give you. So my point is, most media businesses target their messages to women because women make consumption and consumer decisions, except for Saudi Arabia. But women, and I argue this on many panels, women are going to become and will always be the single most important influencers in how media is used or abused. We will set the trends. We will set the rules. We do not need the censorship. We understand our value systems, and we will imbue those into media going forward and create the change that the world wants, whether it's men, whether it's politics, whether it's religion, it doesn't matter. The soul of a woman is her strongest point. And that is what social media uses best. Thank you.
Thank you to all our speakers for their wonderful opening remarks. You know what struck me what all the speakers, what they've shared is that it is the message that is important and not the medium. So I'd like to ask a question to our speakers, that as women who are, I would say, relatively empowered or reasonably empowered, compared to other parts of the world, compared to other sections of society, what is the message that we would like to send across, whether it is through social media, whether it is through any kind of media? And as you said so nicely, that women have always known how to use social network. They don't necessarily need the social media. They have known how to network, how to form bonds, how to form groups, how to sit together, how to gossip, chat, and share their life stories. So what is the message that we'd like to share as women? I'd like to open that to the panel.
Yeah, the message to women would be that, which has been there, we are not asking for reservation in any realm of sphere, public sphere. We only want a level playing field and to be heard and seen, and the experiences, the stories that have been shared by Ravina, Shazia and you in Egypt. It really comes out very clearly that women, of course, have the strength, the resilience, and their capability to influence. So it is only that the technology which is there, which I had earlier mentioned, it is creative, ingenious use of technology has to be given to them. That has to be afforded to them, which is happening because, there is network even in the rural areas. So it is community per se, which is very important. That is the message I would like to say.
One of the most important things through media for women, it's bring a new vision about the relation between women. In the past, they promote always that we are always jealous and jealousy between women. A lot of liars talking about women. Now we can talk about ourselves and we can support ourselves. And in Egypt, when the army and the police harassed women in the street, the activists and the protesters, in 1 week, without any promotion through the traditional media, just we said through the social media, we want to make a big demonstration. Then we give to all the society that women can have a voice, can become a good power, a big power, a strong power. And we made a very big and historical protest for women. Thousands of women go to the street against the woman harassment. And the social media helps a lot.
I was so glad you didn't come to me first. But in the meantime, I've thought of what my message would be, and it's 3. Those of us who do messages know that 3 is very good. So my life lesson tells me that my message for women is, in no particular order, work together, persevere, and speak from the heart. For a long, long time, I can't believe I'm here today, actually. I was born into a very humble sort of background in the north of England, and here I am with you on this platform. And it came about through perseverance. And it was hard. Like in the previous panel, we heard the story of what it's like to be a young journalist, and it was quite hard. But in all the things that I've done, I realize my life has led me this way to do something for human rights, to speak from the heart. And I've had the good luck in my life to find things like the art of living that has helped me, and also to have a drive in me, a persistence.
persevere. And that's what women can do. We're resilient, we persevere. And the biggest lesson I've learned, and I only learned this very recently, was try and do it on your own. There's lots of people out there to help. And that's what I would say.
I think the first message we should send is, I believe we should abolish the term women empowerment. Because I believe
She says we should abolish the term women empowerment because, you can explain.
Because I believe if every one of us is powerful in her own way. We don't need a term to define us. So I think we should...
We don't need International Women's Day.
Exactly. We can all make a change in our own way, I think, and within our own roles and our own capabilities. So just like you said, speak from the heart and send our messages to the world without being it said in quotations, just saying it as it is.
I have, ever since I have a powerful voice, I've been in the media business since 1986, and I was always asked, what is it like to be the first woman CEO in television? What about the glass ceiling? And all these wonderful questions. And I always looked really dumb, which I really felt at the time, and said, what are you talking about? And then I was asked a very pertinent question once on a very serious media platform and said, what are your views on reservation? I will not repeat my answer because it was blasphemous, but the meaning of it was reservation of any description, especially when you're saying, I want reservation, I want International Women's Day, I want women's rights, I want feminist movements, is a recognition of weakness. Give me equal opportunity. Don't give me scraps. So I think women who now use media, and they've always used media, the oldest form of media is gossip, which is the exchange of vital information. Yes? In your community, which then grows. I think women have the power to use that beautifully, and women should never underestimate what we've got.
During this entire campaign of Anna Hazare, when lots of people thronged together to Ramleela grounds and lots of women were there, I met a young man who kept dragging me to meet his mother, and this was a 70-year-old lady. And her son said, I don't know what's happened to my mother, and she's never done this before. And she's a grandmother. Go out there, and I want to just cook for everybody, whoever I can cook for. And he had a problem stopping her. I said, it's difficult for me to drop you and pick you. He says, I don't care. I'm going to be here because this is about me. So I think very often all that we do is such a huge part of what has been told to us by the patriarchal system, by the consumerist society. You should look this way, you should feel this way, you should be this Wonder Woman, this super mom. Keep balancing all the time, be this lovely acrobat. I think somewhere we have to start defining our roles for ourselves. How comfortable we are in our own skin, with our age. We actually get beautiful as we grow older. But the few extra inches here and there just add to our beauty. And we don't have to all run around to meet the stereotypes. So it's enjoying ourselves for what we are, just we are. It's this moment being perfect for what it is. It's we being perfect just as we are. And connecting with the outer world out there. Because only when you overcome yourself and connect with others do you experience joy. And I think that's an important message to give.
It's so incredible to be in this conference, and I've seen the last 5 women's conferences. It's been a sharing of joy, and in fact, Guruji has said so many times that women don't need to be empowered. In fact, they need to empower, because all the strength, all the wisdom, all the beauty and joy is within them. What I'd like to do is also have some of the audience, share what is their view, on this. What is the message that as women we want to spread across social networking across the world? We have a very distinguished speaker with us, so I'd like her to share her message with us.
Take this one. Why don't you take this one?
Thank you very much. Mine is just a brief sharing with a question. I'm very excited and honored to be here with the Arab women in particular. After the Arab Revolution, the Arab Spring. And we know, we've watched the Iraq War on television. We've watched the revolution in North Africa in particular on television. And we've seen the role, the important role that women played there. My question is, what is the position of women right now, particularly in Tunisia, Libya, and Egypt? We've heard there were elections. We are not sure how many women were elected, as women were in the leadership, in the front line of the revolution. Where are they today? In our struggle in South Africa, when it was clear that we have defeated apartheid, with the support of all of you, and thank you very much for the solidarity that you gave our people in South Africa. I want to share that the women of South Africa stood back and said, we are not going back to the kitchen. We are going to be in parliament with the men. And when they said, no, women are not educated, women are not this, no, women don't have skills, women are not lawyers, we said, all the men who were fighting, who were in jail, who were in exile, they never had the experience of ruling this country. We are all stupid in terms of ruling this country, both men and women. So we are all going to go in and learn together. Secondly, we went to Nelson Mandela. He was saying, we are fighting for a non-racial, democratic South Africa. We said, no, Dada. Dada is father. We said, no, Dada. We are fighting for a non-sexist, non-racist, democratic South Africa. He said, you know, I don't understand these feminist issues. I'm too old for that. Go and teach it to my sons. And we said, you are the one that must say it so that your sons can follow you. And he said it. He said, we are fighting for a non-racial, we are fighting for a non-sexist, non-racial, democratic South Africa. And today, all his sons, including the presidents that followed him, they have said it, and today it is entrenched in our constitution because the leader and the leaders together, men and women, said it and accepted that women have to lead that country. So I'm saying we are worried about the women in North Africa and the Arab women. Where are they today when the elections are taking place, when people are appointed as leaders and president? And congratulations to my sister for the guts to stand as president.
Would anybody in the audience like to add some thoughts to this? We could have a mic come to you. Yeah, many hands are up there.
I feel really women who are here, mostly maybe coming from privileged backgrounds. What I would love to send the message with every woman, middle class woman, privileged woman, is to work with underprivileged women. Because underprivileged women, they always struggle much than the privileged women. Privileged women, they have what they have because they are supported by their families, by the status of their parents or tribes, but underprivileged women, they still struggle, but they have potentials. So this is the message. Underprivileged, please work with, privileged, work with underprivileged.
Namaste to everyone. This is Yvonne from South Africa. I have to start with grace and gratitude that coming from the South African Broadcasting Corporation myself. There is so much that inspired me today and so much to learn. The first thing for me was just to see unity in diversity. That power that as a multidisciplinary team, we can take ourselves to greater heights. So I feel beaming with light, and that there is so much that has radiated the zest to make a difference from us as women. But in many ways, each time I listened, I felt that maybe that's what media need to drive out there. The power of faith, the power of trusting, and the power of believing that once you set that dream there, you can make it happen. I come from a family of story. So for me, I've got a history of that story never dies. And we're not supposed to die with music in our heart. So in many ways, I do see that the social media and technology can be used as a vehicle to create an academy for women. Women in technology, women of faith, women in power, and in many ways will be able to reach even those who could not make it here today. But the last thing that I will share is a big thank you for everyone, because I had actually just written a book entitled Infinite Grace. But that book is dedicated to the arts of living and Guruji, because 5 years ago, 5 years ago, in 2007, on the 14th of June, I had an appointment with my creator, hit by a double stroke whilst driving, and just to cut the long story short, and a very large tumor was discovered. I was discharged to say, go home, it is the end of the road. I went through the art of living, through that power of faith. 5 years later, I am here. I have written that story. So I have written my story as a gift of love to Guruji and to all the Art of Living teachers and ambassadors who have given me the gift of love, and just to remind us as women that we are worthy of love no matter what has happened or not happened. And when we have faith, anything is possible. And I am going to use social media to reach out to each and every soul. When they touch that book and somebody has said you are terminal, I don't know whether you live for 7 days or 7 weeks or 7 months, but it is the end, which is what was said to me, that they will wake up with that zest for life and know that not that our bodies, as Guruji has taught me, are monuments. We will die one day, but when we live fully, we die gracefully. So I am going out of here with greatness.
We all have so many stories to share, and at the end of this session, I request the speakers to give their closing remarks. We'll share a Facebook page with you where all of you can post your stories and all of us can keep in touch. Is that okay?
Can we share just one more story, please?
One more story.
She would like to say it in Arabic and I'll translate for her.
Okay.
Just one.
Yeah.
Please. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
May peace be upon you. It's her first time to speak, so we'll make it fast.
يا رب شكرا. أنا حابة اليوم إني أكون أشكر والدتي حاليا هي في المستشفى
I'd
تعمل
like to
غسيل.
thank my mom. She's right now in the hospital with my brother. He's having a dialysis.
أيوة هي من تقريبا شهرين دخلت رشحت نفسها لمجلس الشورى.
She promoted herself in the Shura Council in Oman, and it was the first election running in Oman.
بس عندنا في عمان ما كان في عنصرية يعني ما في تكاتف نسائي.
In Oman we don't have women representation in the parliament, and so she was one of the first to apply there.
فكان كل التصويت للرجل.
Always everybody was voting for the men and nobody was voting for the women, because they always know that they only have to do it for men, not for women, since she's the first one to go for that.
وأنا حابة أقول إني أنا جدا فخورة فيها.
I am very proud of my mom that she did that, even if she is one who is very rare, but she started somewhere.
وأنا عادة جندي مجهول في مؤسستها.
I'm always helping and supporting her. Her mom, I can explain to you, she lives up in the mountains of Salalah, and she makes very beautiful frankincense, which she makes the oil, she mixes it and everything. And I would like to share, if a woman has this power to do anything, she can do it, whether she's privileged or she's underprivileged. I don't believe that anything can stop a woman to do and to achieve what she wants to do. Thank you.
I'll request the speakers now to give their quick closing remarks. And then we'll launch the Facebook page that we can all connect through. And then we'll have a guided meditation by Mrs. Bhanumati Narasimhan. So that.
Hi, Jai Gurudev. My question is for Ravina over here. Ravina, you just said a moments ago that women require media at all, right? I mean, you said we are the biggest gossipers, and you gave the story about this UP people, UP gang, pink dupatta gang, and it was quite enlightening for me to understand that. But what I really need to ask you is, if women certainly don't require a social media, then who gets affected by it? Is it only the educated women of India who get affected by it? Or are there also people who are uneducated, illiterate? I know through various missionaries and charities like Art of Living and other agencies around the world, underprivileged women do get through awareness and all. But where does it go and stop, or where does it go and start? Because for me, I know how to read and write. I have come across many stories where people don't know to read and write. Still, they are the best in their field. So how does the social media really impact? Is it just for the soaps? Is it just limited to the news? Or is it just limited to people like Shaja and Barkhadat and people like that, who are the actual people who are gaining the best out of it?
So social media, as you define it right now, is really new media, used in a social manner. It is rather technology dependent, and for mass impact in developing countries like India, Africa, the Middle East, North Africa, it is more about the social fabric and the community that spreads the message, which may have been sparked by a media report. The largest newspaper in the world is the Times of India. What is the circulation? It doesn't reach everybody. But the chain of thought that goes through, the point I was making about you don't need media to have impact, which is contrary to everything I have always worked for, is the fact that the human spirit and a commonness of purpose can multiply a small media thought into global impact. So the people who are not being touched by new media today, or even traditional media, television has penetrated in this country more than 80%, which is massive. It's a huge, one of the largest markets in the world. It's also the most fragmented. Make no mistake, it is not only news that is media. Cinema, music, writing, theater, thought, it's all media. When I say gossip, men are better gossips than women, by the way. Women have just used it prolifically in their own communities and families to survive. So the point I was really trying to press over there is media is important to multiply an effect. But the multiplier also comes much more when there is a small thought that catches fire in the soul. That is the point I was trying to make.
I would just like to add to that. Somebody mentioned a point about privileged women helping underprivileged women. You know, when we look at patriarchy and what is the premise of patriarchy? That men are superior, essentially. So when you look at that and we look at all the social evils pertaining to women, whether it's gender violence, rape, eve teasing, dowry deaths, they cut across all classes, whether it's the upper class women or middle classes or lower classes. So this is something that is to be fought across all regions and across all classes. So even who you think are very privileged may probably have very stories of gender biases that they have gone through. And if you come from an underprivileged situation in terms of gender bias, which is what I went through because there was complete discrimination between brothers and sisters and the way I was brought up, you bring that experience to the table. When you're an anchor out there, because you've known what it is to be at the receiving end, because you've had to struggle more to get there, to fight more, with your brothers, with your system, to get ahead, you bring that to the table. Every time there's a story about a woman who's aspiring for more or who's struggling, there's more sensitivity because all your experiences and all your struggle lives with you, works with you, and shows through your work. So instead of dividing women across, making them into privileged sections and unprivileged, let's remember patriarchy or the belief that we are inferior and we need more empowerment. I think to question that and make rules for ourselves is a better idea. So I think across all classes, that's important.
Okay, you can hear me now. This is a great discussion, and I want to come back on a few points. I said, even before we came into the room, it's always hard when you're up here speaking because there are things you forget. And there was a couple of things I forgot, of course, to mention in my talk, and thankfully, my dear friends have helped me. I wanted to come back on this lovely contrarian idea, which is that forget social media, cross out the media. It's about being social. And this is such a good story that you told. And the thing about social media is that it replicates our ability to connect and speak to each other in the real world. Now, we don't know where that's going. We don't know where it will head, but it seems to be bringing good benefits so far. So let's stay with it. And also, one of the challenges I left you with at the end of my little talk was about taking it out into the world yourself and what I could do for the Roma Gypsy people. And I want to just thank the lady in the pink t-shirt at the back who spoke about the privileged and underprivileged people. I wanted to add to that. It's something that's very much in my thoughts at the moment. Every one of us in here is privileged anyway by the fact of being here. But if we do work with underprivileged people, as you called it, then the important thing is let them guide us. I want those women, the Gypsy Roma women, to guide me. I don't want to go in with my ideas and prejudices and try and lead them. I want them to lead me. And that's a very important thought that I take away from this conference. And I can find a way of doing it by finding the women in those Roma communities who are the natural leaders and getting them to help me and act as mediators. And that, I think, is a powerful thing that I will pursue from now on.
At the first, I'm proud to be an African woman. And we must say that the African woman made a good step in the political life more than the Arab woman. In our parliament, we have less than 2% in the parliament. But in the same time, we are in the ground, making everything, giving a good image and power to the role of the woman in our revolution. And I believe, like all of you, that the power of women sometimes is more than can the society accept, and the leaders, the men. And not only the women in the Egyptian revolution and in the Arab Springs suffered, also the youth suffered a lot. Until yet, the women and the youth didn't take their demands of the revolution. But I'm sure we will continue and we will win. Thank you.
My parting lines stem from out of a New Year card which I received, which said that life was so simple when oranges, apples and blackberries were simple fruits. So I want to leave you with the thought that social media is, rather than technology, it is about psychology, it is about sociology. Rather than websites, it is about sharing experiences. Thank you.
I would like to say, to end this with just one thought. The privilege that we all have is that we are women. There are many others in this world. I think as more to give them just to give them a path to share their experiences and share their stories. Social media is very powerful and very important, but like you said, it's all about being social. And I think the most important thing we can do to ourselves is to share our stories, share our experiences, because a story never dies. And a story can go on from generation to the other. And I am the accumulation of the stories of my ancestors. So I think each and every woman has, because we are life givers and we are the keepers of tradition. So I think what we can do is share and just let the world know our message, and hopefully day by day and bit by bit it will reach the masses. Thank you.
You must be hungry. I've said a lot, and we all have, and whatever. But the single important lesson that I learned from my years in the entertainment business, creating daily soaps, which were targeted at women and housewives, and why the protagonists were always women, it's because it is always the older woman in a family who empowers or disempowers the younger ones. I would like to leave you with that thought, that as women who have more experience than our younger colleagues in the gender, we have the power of influencing other women. It's not the men. Thank you.
You know, there is this old adage, handsome is what handsome does. And I think it applies to this conversation that we're having with each other. I think if we've had prime ministers who've been women from different countries, but if it hasn't led to better conditions for women, then it's little good really for part of gender. So I really feel that engaging with our reality and creating that multiplier effect, that our experiences help others, is very, really important. And there very often I meet gender sensitive men who do much more than women, So just to be woman is not enough, but to do something about it and make sure the benefits reach others is more important.
I'd just like to end by sharing one small story, how this conference started. Today we have women from 55 countries in this room. It's truly the world in one room. And it all started like this, this is the 5th International Women's Conference. And we were sitting with Bhanu Didi one day right across there, you know, that amphitheater that you see. And she said, what do you think? Shouldn't we get women from all over the world and just talk and share our experiences? And let's understand what connects us to each other. Because actually we're the same everywhere, isn't it? Underneath that white skin, brown skin, dark skin, yellow skin, we're all the same. So we thought, yes, it's a brilliant idea. And the conference has grown from that one little conversation that we had, 5 of us sitting there. Today we have reached 55 countries. And there are 500 women sitting in this room sharing the same experience, you know. So I'd truly like to give a very big hand to Bhanu Didi because she's the one who conceptualized this whole thing. And I'd like to end the conference with this one note, you know, that technology has definitely shrunk the globe. We've all come closer. I can sit here and I can reach out to somebody in Argentina or in South Africa or anywhere else in the world. But I do hope that my mind has been broadened, my vision has been cultured, and that I have more belongingness and more acceptance. And that is what spirituality does to me as a person. So thank you so much for such a wonderful session, all of you. You've been great panelists. And give them all a very big hand. It's been a great panel. I'd like to invite Bhanu Didi to take a guided meditation.
Infinite skies, a witness to all life, unraveling hope in mystic style. Whenever a tear forms in the eye, a quantum of love comes in.
Music can be louder. Maybe we should just stand and just move.
Passing care fills the cup of life. When words take a toll and thoughts don't comply, see 'cause she's the source once again so high. She's a quantum of love, from mother to child, the eternal one, the sacred source of life. Hey, hey, she's a mother like no other. She's a quantum of love. She's the one where love surrenders. She's a quantum of love. She's a quantum of love. She's a quantum of love. She's a infinite skies. Oh.
Maybe seated. So
So let's descend from head to heart now. Let's meditate for some time. I know you're all hungry. Every time I get this opportunity when you're hungry. Let's sit comfortably and easily. Let's close our eyes. Keep a gentle smile on our face. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, make a ha sound. Breathe out with a ha sound. Once again, breathe in. Ha. Once again, breathe in. Ha. Keep breathing normally, normal, deep, gentle breath. Relax your shoulders, relax your neck, relax your face. Relax your whole body. Once again, breathe in. And as you breathe out, relax your whole body. Your incoming breath energizes the body, and your outgoing breath relaxes the body. Breathe in with a smile and breathe out with a smile. Become aware of the noises around you, the environment, any noise. Accept all the noises. Once again, breathe in and breathe out. Relax more and more. Become aware of your thoughts. Good thoughts, bad thoughts. Let it be. Breathe in once again and breathe out. Become aware of your feelings, pleasant, unpleasant. Let it be. We are much bigger than our thoughts and feelings. Once again, breathe in with a smile and breathe out with a smile.
हर गुण गाऊं। ओम ओम की मधुर ध्वनि में अंदर ही खो जाऊं। सांस सांस में सुमिरन करके बार बार बलि जाऊं। तुम बिन मेरो कोई न भगवन, जिसको मैं अपनाऊं। सांस सांस में सुमिरन करके बार बार बलि जाऊं। Your peace and your love Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Once again, take a deep breath in and breathe out. Once again, breathe in, and as you breathe out, become aware of your body and surroundings. And slowly and gradually, with a big smile, you may open your eyes. Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev. Was good? Yeah. So now time to go and feed our stomach. There's good lunch waiting. So the next session is at 2:30. So let's enjoy our lunch. Thank you.
The speakers for the next session, if you could come to the right-hand side of the stage and meet with your MC, Richa Chopra, right now, just before you go into lunch. The speakers for the next session. And if you look at your screens, you can see the page, the women's conference page that we can all connect through.
Unraveling hope in mystic style. Whenever a tear